Chapter 37:12. The opening of the world passage is both an opportunity and a crisis for us. The Dark Bone King has ordered all of us to enter. The starry sky universe is rumored to be very strong. We need to be prepared. Whether we work together or act alone, we have to discuss it. The Tiger King looked at them and said, "We will definitely be suppressed if we enter another universe. Besides, we can't return to our own holy kingdom instantly. If we die, we might really die. It's very dangerous." A Skeleton King said with a slight frown. "It is indeed dangerous, but that is the starry sky universe. That is the world where the giant beasts of the starry sky are born. The resources there are much more than in our Nine Origins universe." The Lizard King said plainly, his eyes shining. "We can work together and enter. If we work together, you have to put aside your grudge with the Black Vulture King. Besides, we need to practice. After all, we will be entering another universe, and a very powerful one at that." A Skeleton King looked at them and said, "Sure." The Black Vulture King glanced at the Lizard King and replied in a low voice. The 9 Skeleton Kings were discussing. Wang Xian listened quietly at the side. From their conversation, he also learned some information. The Black Vulture King and the others were subordinates of the Dark Bone King. When the world passage opened, the Dark Bone King allowed them to enter the starry sky universe. If they entered the other universe, they would be rejected by the other universe. Their strength would be suppressed, and they could not be teleported back instantly. If they died there, unless they had a special universal treasure, they would really die. It was very dangerous. But at the same time, the starry sky universe was also a huge treasure to them. There were much fewer living beings in the starry sky universe than in the Nine Origins universe. That was the home of the giant beasts of the starry sky, which also meant that the resources there were very rich. Some treasures might be able to help experts break through the shackles easily, or even modify their own bloodlines. After all, the bloodline abilities and special bodies of the giant beasts of the starry sky were too powerful. Wang Xian listened to their discussion, and a thoughtful look appeared on his face. The cataclysm will arrive in a few billion years. When that time comes, it will be truly tragic. Therefore, the sudden opening of the world passage is an opportunity for our Nine Origins universe. When that time comes, the experts of our peak races will probably let the experts and disciples of the advanced races enter, in order to obtain more experts and better deal with the cataclysm. The Black Vulture King spoke. Upon hearing this, Wang Xian's eyes flickered. "Let's go get ready first, and then we'll gather at Lord Dark Bone King's place." The Lizard King glanced at them and said, "All right." The group of Skeleton Kings nodded and gestured to the Black Vulture King before leaving. As Wang Xian watched them leave, his gaze fell on the Black Vulture King. "Hehe, Dragon King, do you have a lot of doubts?" Black Vulture King looked at Wang Xian and asked with a smile. "Indeed, Black Vulture King, there are many things that I'm not clear about from your conversation." Wang Xian nodded his head. "It's normal that you don't know. Regarding the cataclysm and the cosmos, not even the disciples of the peak races know anything about it. Only those who have advanced to the sovereign realm are qualified to know about it." The Black Vulture King smiled and continued, "With the Dragon King's current strength, you are qualified to know about it. Regarding the cataclysm, rather than calling it a cataclysm, it would be better to call it a great war. A great war between the various universes. Every great war is a cleansing and reincarnation of the various universes." "War? Grandfather, why are the various universes fighting?" Ling Honggu asked curiously from the side. "Because of resources." The Black Vulture King answered, "The Nine Origins universe isn't the only universe. There are other universes. Every 30 billion years, the various universes will get closer to each other, and the universe passageways will appear. Once the passageways open, a great war will break out. In some universes, there are terrifying existences that are bloodthirsty and kill crazily. In some universes, they can teleport and are the greatest enemies of our Nine Origins universe. In the Void universe and the Starry Sky universe, the Starry Sky beasts are also bloodthirsty. They devour flesh and blood to enhance themselves. During the period when the various universes are getting closer, it will basically be a bloodbath. Sometimes, all living beings in the entire universe will be massacred. We can only wait for the various universes to separate and give birth to living beings after some time. However, the good thing is that the strength of our 9 Origins universe is not bad. In the recent 2 Cataclysm, several peak races have survived. However, the chances of the weaker races and living beings surviving are much lower. As the Black Vulture King spoke, Wang Xian, Ling Honggu, and the rest were shocked. The entire universe will be massacred. What level of war is this? Is it that tragic? Wang Xian asked in surprise. The Black Vulture King nodded his head. According to the records, it is very tragic. Before the last cataclysm, 5 peak races were annihilated. Our skeleton race was only born in this era. However, our skeleton king is an existence that survived the last cataclysm. Grandfather, can't we just hide and not participate in the war? Ling Honggu asked doubtfully. It's useless. The weak will die. Take our enemies, the experts from the Void Universe for example. When they enter our universe, they can teleport. There is no place for you to hide. Some starry sky beasts also have terrifying abilities. In another universe, there is a race called the Ghost Race. They can't be killed or destroyed. They can only be suppressed. This race can sense the location of living beings. The Black Vulture King shook his head. Can't be killed or destroyed. Ling Honggu's eyes widened in shock. You can say that. Of course, there is a way to kill them, and that is the heavenly Yuan creation treasure. The Black Vulture King said and shook his head. However, there are only a few of such treasures in a universe. There is actually such a terrifying race. Wang Xian clicked his tongue. Yes, no expert can guarantee that they can survive the cataclysm. Even the peak races don't have 100% chance of surviving. The Black Vulture King nodded his head. Black Vulture King, the skeleton race seems to be very strong now. Wang Xian said to him. Haha, indeed. Although the skeleton race has only made a breakthrough in this era, we have inherited powerful abilities. In the last cataclysm, countless experts turned into skeletons. The skeleton race was born from skeletons and condensed power from corpses. This is the greatest advantage of the skeleton race. In the last cataclysm, some corpses and skeletons made us stronger. The skeleton race was born in death and war. The Black Vulture King laughed heartily and said. Chapter 37:13, The skeleton race was born in this era. They relied on the countless corpses from the previous cataclysm to form the current pinnacle race. It was also because of this that the skeleton race produced a large number of experts. According to the Black Vulture King, the skeleton race had the most universe rulers among all the pinnacle races. No other pinnacle races dared to belittle them. Not even those pinnacle races that had survived 1 or 2 cataclysm. Due to their size and physique, the cosmic beasts can slowly adapt to any environment. Now, they can be found in any universe and will gradually evolve and mutate in this universe. Some of the cosmic beasts in our 9-source universe have already developed intelligence. The real cosmic beasts in the starry universe do not have intelligence. They only hunt, eat, reproduce, and sleep. This time, the channel was opened because of a few pinnacle cosmic beasts in the mountains and seas, Hun Dun, Fei Lian, Ba Wei, Swan Ni, and Shu Hao. They used their terrifying strength and treasures to open up the world channel. These cosmic beasts want to return to their own universe. After the universe channel is opened, the starry universe is a treasure to us. However, the strength of the starry universe is stronger than our 9-source universe. There will be great risks in entering. The Black Vulture King continued to explain to Wang Xian. Thank you, Black Vulture King, for the information. Wang Xian cupped his hands and thanked the Black Vulture King. This information is not too confidential. The universe channel will be opened in 1,000 years. When the time comes, the pinnacle races will spread the news. By then, any disciple of the experts in the 9-source universe will be able to enter the starry universe. Dragon King, be careful if you go. The Black Vulture King reminded with a smile. Wang Xian nodded. Grandfather, are there really many treasures there? I'll go too. Ling Honggu looked at the Black Vulture King and asked, "Can go? Although it's dangerous there. Similarly, the opportunities are strong." The Black Vulture King nodded. "Of course. Most importantly, Honggu, you have the resurrection fruit that the Dragon King gave you." As he spoke, he looked at Wang Xian. "Can't you return to your own holy kingdom in another universe?" This also caused many life-saving treasures to lose their effectiveness. "Dragon King, you gave Hong Jiyu that soul-returning fruit that you auctioned last time? But it's useful. It's a rare life-saving treasure. Although I'll need to cultivate again, I'll be able to survive." "Oh, really? I obtained quite a few of these treasures back then. I can give 2 to you, Black Vulture King," Wang Xian said. His palm moved. 2 soul-returning embryo fruits appeared in front of him. There's no need. I bought a few at the last auction. It's enough." The Black Vulture King was a little tempted, but he still rejected it. 1 or 2 of these fruits were enough. Wang Xian nodded his head and kept it. "Wang Xian, will you go to the Starry Sky universe?" Ling Honggu looked at Wang Xian. He asked. "Of course, I will go." Wang Xian nodded his head. At present, it's very difficult to obtain a large amount of resources in the universe. The Starry Sky universe is a good choice. That's right. Our 9 Essences universe has been around for more than 20 billion years, and many of the treasures have been taken by the most powerful races. It's already very difficult to obtain large amounts of resources. The Starry Sky universe is a land of opportunity. The Black Vulture King nodded his head and said. Wang Xian also nodded his head silently. After returning from the Invincible domain, the strength of the Dragon Palace had been greatly improved. Currently, if he wanted to improve so quickly, he only knew of one place. The land of mountains and seas. Other than the land of mountains and seas, the other treasure lands and major resources had been taken by the most powerful races. It would be very difficult for him to obtain a large amount of resources. However, the land of mountains and seas had powerful starry sky beasts, and it was also a huge risk. Now that the world passage was open, the Starry Sky universe was a very good place for Wang Xian. At that time, not only him, but the experts of the Dragon Palace could also enter the Starry Sky universe. "Dragon King, if you're going, you should be careful. You offended experts from the Phoenixes and the Angel Folk. Back in the 9 Essences universe, because of the rules, and the fact that you had the help of the side, the Phoenixes and the Angel Folk didn't dare to send experts to make a move against you. But in the Starry Sky universe, things might be different. This time, there will be a large number of experts and disciples from the powerful races entering the Starry Sky universe. If they meet you, they will definitely attack you. Be careful." The Black Vulture King reminded him. "I'll be careful." Wang Xian nodded as his eyes sparkled. The angel race had tried to eliminate him time and time again. The Phoenix race's attack in the Invincible domain had pushed them into a situation where they would fight to the death. If he met the experts and disciples of the 2 races in the Starry Sky universe, even if they did not attack Wang Xian would still attack them. As long as he met the experts and disciples of the Angel race and the Phoenix race, he would try his best to eliminate them. At that time, it was still uncertain who would be killed. Haha, all right. Dragon King, why don't you stay with the Spirit Demon race for a few days? I have to return to my own territory to settle some matters. The Black Vulture King smiled at him. Wang Xian nodded. Wang Xian, why don't we go to the Starry Sky universe together? After the Black Vulture King left, Ling Honggu looked at Wang Xian and invited him. I still want to act on my own. Wang Xian rejected after thinking for a while. His current strength and speed were much stronger than Ling Honggu. It would be better for him to act on his own. All right then. Be careful. You have to be careful too. Wang Xian chatted with Ling Honggu. Before long, the Spirit Demon King also came in. The group chatted for a while. Wang Xian did not stay at the Spirit Demon race for long. On the 4th day, he returned. At this time, he received a message from Lan Qingyu. This message was about the Starry Sky universe and the world passage. This message was sent to her by Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai. Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai were currently within the sea of the land of mountains and seas. This time, the world passage was opened by the starry sky beast. Qingyu, how much information did Xiao Lan send? Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace and asked Lan Qingyu. Little Blue and the others sent a message saying that a powerful astral beast in the mountain sea realm has opened up a huge passageway. This passageway leads to another universe, a universe where astral beasts are born. Many astral beasts have already entered that universe. Many starry sky beasts have already entered that universe, Lan Qingyu replied immediately. Chapter 37:14. Has it been opened? Wang Xian's eyes sparkled when he heard the message. Just as Black Vulture King had said, the resources of the Nine-Source universe had already been occupied by the top races. When the last cataclysm had just ended, the surviving top races had occupied all the treasures. As time passed, various races were born, but most of the treasures could still be easily obtained by the top races. 95% of the resources in the entire Nine-Source universe were concentrated in the hands of the top races. This was also the reason why the top races were so powerful. It was extremely difficult for the Dragon Palace to improve further. The opening of the Starry Universe passage was an opportunity for the Dragon Palace. Of course, it was also an opportunity for the experts of the other races in the Nine-Source universe. However, this fortuitous opportunity could be mixed with great danger. The Starry Universe was the universe where the starry beasts were born. Even the sovereigns had to be careful there. After all, they could not escape instantly, and many life-saving treasures were useless. If they died, they would really die. Prime Minister Turtle. Wang Xian came to the Dragon King Hall and transmitted his voice to Prime Minister Turtle. Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle flew over and cupped his hands respectfully. I have a message for you to accept. In addition, inform the Dragon Palace Universe Supremacy disciples about this and ask them to prepare. Wang Xian waved his arm, and a message from Black Vulture King entered Prime Minister Turtle's mind instantly. Prime Minister Turtle absorbed it and nodded immediately. We don't know much about the Starry Universe. As for entering the Starry Universe, let them decide for themselves. Wang Xian said as he sensed the soul fetal fruit on the progenitor tree. He hadn't used the soul-returning embryo fruit recently. This also caused the number of soul fetal fruit in the Dragon Palace to reach more than 4,000. In addition, gather more than 2,000 other stronger disciples and let them enter as well. Everyone who enters will get one soul fetal fruit. Wang Xian continued to order. Yes, Dragon King. I will gather all the leaders and experts to discuss this immediately. Prime Minister Turtle said. There's no hurry. I think it will take some time to pass through the passage. Wang Xian said. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. This time, Wang Xian was going to order the experts of the Dragon Palace to go over. After reaching the pinnacle of the Venerable Realm, fighting and killing was a shortcut to breaking through. This was also the reason why there were so many experts heading to the Invincible domain. Wang Xian switched on the Universe AI to take a look and realized that the message had not been sent out. And he's not anxious. He waited quietly. At the same time, he asked Lan Qingyu to keep an eye on the situation at Xiaolan's residence. Time passed day by day. A year passed in the blink of an eye. However, on this day, a world-shaking roar suddenly echoed out from the depths of the mountains and seas. This vast voice seemed to spread throughout the entire untainted continent. When Wang Xian heard this voice, he could vaguely sense something from this roar. He could feel a powerful pressure pressing down on him. His figure flickered, and he instantly flew above the Dragon Palace, looking down into the depths of the mountains and seas. What grade of star behemoth did that roar come from? This voice that carries such a powerful pressure. He murmured and looked in the direction of the ocean in shock. He stood in the void for a very long time, and when there was no second roar, he stopped. He returned to the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, half a year later, all the pinnacle races will make a statement on the Universe AI. The world passage to the Starry Universe will be opened. At that time, we will encourage the experts and disciples of the advanced races to explore. Dragon King, You can wait a few hundred years or 1,000 years before you enter. It might be dangerous to enter first. At this time, Black Vulture King sent a message. Wang Xian saw it and replied gratefully. Xiao Xian, Xiao Lan, and Xiao Zhai have entered the starry universe. Along with them are almost all the star behemoths in the mountains and seas. At this time, Lan Qingyu flew over and said to Wang Xian, "Huh! Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai have entered the starry universe. Then let them enter first. Qingyu, if there's any special information about the starry universe, tell Prime Minister Turtle and me immediately. We might enter the starry universe in half a year." Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he spoke. All right. Lan Qingyu nodded. Xiao Zhai and Xiao Lan had the bloodline of the star behemoths. Since they were star behemoths, the starry universe was their home. With them taking the lead, it was undoubtedly great news for the Dragon Palace. At this moment, in the universe's AI, due to this terrifying roar, the entire prehistoric continent was in an uproar. This roar spread far and wide within the primordial continent. Many experts and disciples heard it. Many experts and disciples discussed in shock. Half a year passed quickly. However, on this day, a sudden piece of news caused the entire chaotic continent, and even the entire nine-source universe, to be in an uproar. This news came from the pinnacle races. It came from more than one pinnacle race. Angels, demons, phoenix race, celestial tiger race, black tortoise race, fairy race, sorcerer race, skeleton race, sage race, underworld race, celestial nation, and royal race. Currently, there were a total of 12 pinnacle races in the nine-source universe. These 12 pinnacle races released news one after another on the same day. Fairy race. In the depths of the Sea of Mountains, the passage between the nine-source universe and the starry universe has opened. The starry universe is the birthplace of the star behemoths. Countless resources and treasures are waiting to be explored. This is an opportunity for all races in the nine-source universe. Devil race. The cataclysm will arrive in a few billion years. If you do not wish to be exterminated, you must become stronger. The starry universe is the only way for all races to survive. Skeleton race. You are very lucky. Before the cataclysm, a passage has opened between the nine-source universe and the starry universe. There is a way to become stronger. Enter the star behemoths to seek opportunities. This is the only way to survive the cataclysm. Angel race. Those who enter the starry universe and break through to the sovereign realm can join our angel race. The angel race will be your strongest backer in the future cataclysm. Celestial tiger race. Sovereign realm experts can join our celestial tiger race. Our celestial tiger race will organize experts and disciples to enter the starry universe. Disciples with second-order sovereign combat power and above can join. Underworld race. You may die if you enter the starry universe. However, if you do not enter, you will definitely die in the cataclysm. Entering the starry universe is your only hope. The 12 pinnacle races released news at the same time on the AI. In an instant, the universe exploded. Chapter 37:15. The peak races didn't care about the matters of the higher races. They were already standing at the peak. Most of the resources in the Nine Essences universe were now under their control. The apex clans usually wouldn't fight with the advanced clans for some newly born treasures. It could be said that they did not care about anything outside of their own treasured land. The disciples of the peak clans all cultivated within their own clans. Even the warlike skeleton clan and the nether clan, who constantly slaughtered and devoured each other, were only fighting among themselves. They had no interest in high-level races at all. Now that the 12 pinnacle races had made a statement at the same time, it could be said that all the races were boiling with excitement. What does the Apex Races statement mean? The passageway between the Nine Essences universe and the Starry Sky universe has been opened, and we can enter the Starry Sky universe. There are other universes beyond us. Are we disciples of the Nine Essences universe? What's on the other side of the universe? Cataclysm? In the coming cataclysm, the peak-level races are saying that we have to become sovereign realm experts in order to survive. What is going on with the cataclysm? SSS, Why do I feel chills running down my spine when I see the information of all the top races? When all the experts and disciples of the chaotic wasteland continent saw the message from the peak races, they felt a chill run down their spines. The Nether Clan and the Skeleton Clan had declared that if they wanted to survive the cataclysm, they would have to enter the Starry Sky universe. The Netherworld race even said that they might die if they entered the Starry universe, but if they didn't, they would definitely die when the cataclysm came. Furthermore, every peak-level race had revealed how terrifying the Measure Tribulation was. That was, without sufficient strength, they would be exterminated. Regarding the cataclysm, even the high-level races did not know much about it. In addition, there were still billions of years before it would arrive, so not many powerhouses paid attention to it. But now, from the information provided by the top races, they knew how terrifying the cataclysm was. Billions of years were indeed very far away from them. However, no matter which advanced race it was, they immediately gathered all their powerhouses when they saw this message. 4 powerful high-level races, it was easy for them to survive for billions of years. There were even some top-grade races that could survive for tens of billions of years without a problem. Now that he saw the information of the apex races, they instantly tensed up. Which race would want to face extinction? No one wanted to be exterminated. There's no need for the experts of the peak races to plot against us. They should be telling the truth. I think we can go and take a look. That's right. There's no need for the peak races to lie to us. Any random sovereign realm expert from one of the peak races could wipe out all of us. There is a vague legend in the universe about the cataclysm. It is said that even the most powerful races may not be able to survive the cataclysm. But why would the peak races tell us about this? Do they want us to help them scout the way, or do they want experts to be born among us high-level races? It's possible. Maybe the power of our universe is stronger. It will be easier to resist the cataclysm. Some of the experts from the various races were discussing and guessing. There was no need for the peak races to lie to them. Moreover, it was not worth it to be deceived by the alliance of the 12 peak races. Secondly, from the information of the peak races, they also knew that the peak races had no ill intentions towards them. All the races and powers in the universe knew the strength of the apex races. They were on a completely different level from them. As long as one thought a little, they would know that the apex races wanted to give birth to more experts in the universe. And that was indeed the case. The ultimate goal of the various races was to increase the overall strength of the 9 Essences universe. The second reason was that he wanted them to scout the way. Exploring a vast universe, a universe where the astral beasts were born, would be difficult even for the apex races. This would require a large number of experts and disciples. And before the cataclysm arrived, the more experts in the 9 Essences universe, the better. Perhaps some experts could obtain great opportunities in the astral universe and become peak experts. This was not impossible. If there were really some experts with great luck, they might be able to reach the ruler realm in a few billion years. After all, that was an unexplored universe. An unknown universe, a universe full of dangers and opportunities. We have to go and take a look. We have to go. It's already very difficult for us to improve and achieve breakthroughs. Immediately, the experts and disciples of countless races prepared to head to the astral universe. They all knew that there might be dangers there, but at the same time, the chances of obtaining opportunities were higher. Especially the old monsters from the Invincible domain. When they received the news, they were extremely excited. Without any hesitation, they immediately flew towards the depths of the mountains and seas. The 12 peak races announced it at the same time. Looks like there will be many experts and disciples from the 9 Essences universe going there. In the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he saw the news. The temptation of a new universe was something many experts could not resist. Especially those experts who had not achieved breakthroughs for a long time. They were prepared to go and seek opportunities. If they were lucky, they might soar to the sky. This was not impossible. Wang Xian looked ahead, his eyes shining. In front of him, there was an array. Within this array, there was a dynamic perspective. In front of the perspective, There was a vast void. There were many huge planets and meteorites ahead. Some of the planets even had all kinds of vegetation growing on them, exuding strong vitality. However, there were no ordinary creatures on this planet. There were only a few special plants. This was the perspective of Xiaolan and the others. No matter where Xiaolan and the others went, Lan Qingyu could contact them and see what they saw. Xiaolan and the others had already entered the astral universe. Lan Qingyu had ordered them to explore this new universe. During this period of time, he saw some of the features of the astral universe and obtained some information. The resources in the astral universe were indeed rich. Dragon King, many experts from different races have already flown towards the depths of the mountains and seas. Even the peak races have sent a large number of experts and disciples over. Prime Minister Turtle stood at the side and said to Wang Xian, "We have to go, but be careful." Wang Xian nodded and said, "I'll head over to check out the situation first. Wait for me to inform the disciples before heading over." "Yes, Dragon King." Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Wang Xian gave some instructions before flying out of the Dragon Palace and towards the depths of the mountains and seas. The members of the Dragon Palace wanted to enter the astral universe, but they had to be careful of some experts. Experts from the Angel race and the Phoenix race. Chapter 37:16. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Wang Xian flew quickly above the sea. The depths of the mountain sea realm could be said to be one of the most dangerous places in the universe. This was the playground of the giant astral beasts and terrifying dire beasts. There were many terrifying existences here. It could be said that the number of terrifying dire beasts and giant astral beasts in the mountain sea realm was comparable to several peak races. This was a forbidden place for other experts. It was the playground of the giant astral beasts and dire beasts. However, at this moment, there were not many powerful marine creatures around. There was not even a shadow of the giant astral beasts. Originally, the interior of the mountain sea realm would make one's heart palpitate. Now, it had completely disappeared. Wang Xian flew inside. Occasionally, he could see experts and disciples of other races flying deeper into the mountain sea realm. Clearly, there were still many experts who wanted to go and take a look. After flying for a few days, Wang Xian suddenly felt the aura in front of him changing. It was a vast expanse, and a savage aura rushed towards him. This aura was different from the Nine Origins universe. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and continued to fly forward. After flying for another day, towering mountains appeared before him. Each mountain stood in the middle of the sea, faintly emitting a powerful aura. The mountains were overgrown with trees and looked very ancient. At this moment, he looked ahead with a shocked look in his eyes. As far as the eye could see, it was a very shocking and strange place. There was space within space, as though two worlds were overlapping. Suddenly, another void appeared in the vast void, its surface area incomparably huge. At this moment, there were already countless experts and disciples gathered in the surroundings. A flying phoenix. A nether clan shrouded in darkness. A majestic divine tiger. A mysterious sorcerer shrouded in a bamboo hat. An angel flapping his wings. A celestial kingdom with an illusory palace above his head. A sage's disciple stepping on the clouds with a feather fan and books in hand. A black tortoise with a thick black shell. Groups of experts from peak races gathered at the entrance of this world. And around this entrance, there were many experts and disciples from high-level races from the chaotic continent. They looked at this scene in shock. Other than them, there was another eye-catching race in the center. Below that race, there was a huge starry sky battleship. The entire starry sky battleship was the size of several stars. Countless aircrafts flew towards the unknown world. Wang Xian looked over with glistening eyes. He moved his body and approached the entrance. The passage between our cosmos and the starry sky cosmos has just opened, but even the experts of the peak races don't dare to enter. The starry sky universe is the birthplace of the giant beasts of the starry sky. If you enter it and suddenly encounter a terrifying giant beast of the starry sky, you won't even know how you die. The scientists of the technological world are currently analyzing the characteristics of the starry sky universe. The peak races are also waiting for their data. Let's not talk about other things. Some of the advanced technology in the technological world is indeed very powerful in terms of exploration. It's much safer than using disciples to explore. As Wang Xian approached, he could hear the conversations of a group of experts and disciples. Zhong Xian scanned the surroundings, but he didn't enter or get too close. Everyone was waiting, standing there quietly. The surrounding experts and disciples were constantly discussing. The peak races seemed to be waiting for some news. Days passed. 5 days later, a figure in a mecha flew out from the central battleship. My lords, the aircrafts of the technological world have penetrated tens of thousands of light years into the starry sky universe. According to our analysis, the metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, and darkness attributes are 20% less than those in the nine-source universe. The starry sky universe has a strong repulsive force against the beings in the nine-source universe, suppressing us by at least 3 levels. Other than that, we can already confirm that we can sense our god nation there, but we can't return to it instantly. In addition, we didn't find any danger in the surroundings. The universe AI can't be used. The starry sky universe contains energy that our nine-source universe doesn't have. Our robots found some fruits, and after our analysis, we found that many of them are extremely useful for the physical body. The special energy is extremely beneficial to the beings in the nine-source universe. In addition, the resources there are indeed more abundant. Many of the divine fruits with attributes have not been devoured by the giant beasts of the starry sky universe. They might not be to their liking. The mecha from the technological world reported to the experts of the peak races. His voice spread out, and all the experts and disciples in the area could hear him clearly. 3 levels of suppression? That's way too powerful. Experts of the peak races can't fight those of a higher level than them. Even the battle prowess of us high-ranking races will be suppressed by 1 level. We can't return to our god nation instantly. The danger is much greater, and the mortality rate will be very high. But the scientists from the technological world also said that the resources there are very abundant. There are many fruits that can improve the physical body, and there are even many attributes. The experts and disciples of the high-ranking races discussed in shock. Some of the experts were nervous and afraid. Not being able to return to their god nations was too dangerous. Disciples of the sorcerer tribe, we will explore new worlds and come into contact with new knowledge. We will not shirk this responsibility. An old man with an incomparably pale face, dressed in black sorcerer attire, said calmly from the sorcerer tribe. His figure flickered, and he instantly disappeared. Behind him, the sorcerers didn't hesitate at all. They stepped into the starry sky. The sorcerer tribe had tens of thousands of sorcerers who entered. The sorcerer tribe had very few members to begin with. Having tens of thousands of sorcerers entering was already a lot. Wang Xian could vaguely sense that the sorcerer who entered first should be a 3rd or 4th order universe lord. At present, the information of the starry sky was still unclear. Clearly, the experts who entered first were not very strong. Celestial Nation, let's go. Over at the Celestial Nation's side, a bald old man with a huge Buddha figure above his head let out a soft cry and also flew inside. From the Celestial Nation, hundreds of thousands of experts and disciples entered. One by one, the peak races entered. However, each peak race left some experts at the entrance. They hovered there, as though they were waiting for the return of their clansmen, and also for the transmission of information. Hee, I can feel the aura of the divine dragon. Hee. At this moment, from the angel tribe, an extraordinarily handsome 12-winged angel stood at the front. He slowly looked in Wang Xian's direction. Chapter 37:17, Her? Wang Xian, who was watching, suddenly felt his heart tighten. His expression changed and he looked over immediately. Their eyes met. Wang Xian looked at the 12-winged angel. A very handsome 12-winged angel. He stood there and stared at Wang Xian calmly. He wore a long white robe with the word 3 carved on it. The 3rd prince of the Radiant Angel clan. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes narrowed. The 3rd prince looked at him quietly before turning to his side. Keep an eye on all the members of the Dragon Palace. Once any divine dragon bloodline enters, lock on and kill them. I don't want any disciple of the Dragon Palace to survive after entering the starry universe. He looked at a burly battle angel beside him and ordered. Yes, Your Highness. Leave a Dragon King to me. The burly 12-winged angel nodded and looked at Wang Xian. The third prince is so powerful that he can kill me in a second. That burly angel's strength is also very terrifying. He can also easily kill me. Wang Xian stood there and his expression changed slightly. Wang Xian estimated the third prince's strength to be above the fifth-order universe sovereign realm. He might even be above the seventh or eighth-order universe sovereign realm. The angel who was staring at him was also very powerful. Indeed, the third prince still wants to kill me. I reckon the moment I enter, the experts of the angel clan will come for me. Wang Xian knitted his eyebrows slightly and pondered deeply. The angel clan could not attack him here, but they could in the starry universe. The starry universe was an unknown treasure trove. Although there were dangers, it could allow an expert to soar. According to the thinking of an expert, the third prince would never allow the experts of the Dragon Palace to seek opportunities in the starry universe. It was highly likely that he would let them enter and then kill them. If I enter now, I can still escape their lock on me. Wang Xian thought to himself. He had an escape scroll in his hand and could escape instantly. Although this instant escape was a little random, it was also a life-saving treasure and could be used 3 times. He could use the mother nest to lead the experts of the Dragon Palace into the starry universe and escape. Go. As he thought about it, he moved and disappeared in an instant. Third prince, take this to prevent the divine dragon bloodline possessor from being taken away from the living space. When Wang Xian disappeared, Qingjiang Aqua Phoenix, who was standing beside the angels, fixed her gaze on the third prince. In front of the third prince, a statue of a dragon head appeared. Seeing the statue, the third prince smiled and nodded calmly. This was to prevent other experts' disciples from leaving with the Dragon Palace's experts in their life spaces. Once there was, the third prince would be able to sense it through the dragon head. At that time, the third prince could either directly send someone or follow them personally. A puny Dragon Palace wants to fight with me, the third prince sneered with a cold look on his face. Once he took action personally, he could easily crush the small Dragon Palace. Buzz. At this moment, Wang Xian had returned to the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King Hall. He was deep in thought. "Unlie!" he shouted, but there was no response. Then, he sensed the Dragon Palace, took out the Universe AI, and sent a message to Anli. "Dragon King, you called for me?" Soon, Anli appeared. At this moment, he seemed to be in high spirits. "Hey!" Wang Xian sized Anli up and was surprised. "Anli, you've gotten stronger?" "Yes, Dragon King. Dragon King, I can cultivate in the Void Pagoda. Moreover, the Star Pagoda in the Invincible domain is one of the top Void Pagodas. There aren't many of them in the entire Void universe. After some research, I discovered other functions, which boosted my strength tremendously," Anli said excitedly. The Void Pagoda in the Invincible domain was definitely a top-notch treasure in the Void universe. More importantly, this treasure wasn't an ordinary inborn treasure, but a terrifying war machine. There weren't many of them in the entire Void universe. Now that such a powerful treasure was occupied by Anli alone, the energy inside had boosted his strength tremendously. Is that so? Anli, how far can you teleport now?" Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he asked in anticipation. If Anli could teleport far away, he could send Anli over first and then bring them over. "In terms of teleportation distance, I can teleport from one side of the Eternal River to the center," Anli said. "At this distance?" Upon hearing this, Wang Xian frowned slightly. This distance wasn't very safe. The area that the technology world had investigated was about the size of the entire Eternal River. Once Anli teleported over, with the technology of the technology world, they would be able to find some clues. Now, Wang Xian could confirm that Anli's ability belonged to the Void Royal family's teleportation ability in the Void universe. Once discovered, it would be very troublesome. "Dragon King, I can perform some simple control of the Void Pagoda now. If I control the Void Pagoda, the teleportation distance can be increased by 10 times. At this moment, Enlai added. Is that so? Wang Xian's eyes lit up and revealed a tinge of excitement. Let's go, follow me. He moved and immediately flew towards the depths of the mountain sealand with Enlai. When they were still a very long distance away from the entrance of the world, he stopped. After scanning the surroundings and confirming that there were no experts around, Wang Xian gestured to Enlai. Summon the Void Pagoda over. He said. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. In the next moment, a huge Void Pagoda appeared in front of him. Dragon King, let's go in. Enlai said to him as he brought him to the control position of the Void Pagoda, the Void Throne. Dragon King, when I sit on the Void Throne, my abilities can be enhanced to a terrifying extent. Under the condition of sensing space, I can sense a large number of experts gathering in front of me. I can also sense the starry universe and can extend it very far. Enlai sat on the Void Throne and said to Wang Xian. Very good. You can teleport to the limits of the Void Pagoda immediately and enter the starry universe. Won't you be discovered? Wang Xian asked. No, no experts from the Void Pagoda can be discovered at the entrance of the starry universe. As Enlai spoke, he used the power of the Void Pagoda to sense quickly. In the next moment, they disappeared. Chapter 37:18, Wang. In an unfamiliar space, a dark void tower appeared out of thin air. Not far away, there was a star that contained boundless life force. On top of the star, there was a large amount of vegetation. This place seems to be very far from the universe passage. Wang Xian stood beside Enlai and looked at the monitor. He was shocked when he scanned the surroundings. Wang Xian knew that this was where Xiaolan and the rest had gone. Xiaolan and the others had to fly for a day to reach this distance. One could imagine how far this distance was. Yes, Dragon King. We are already very far away from here. Enlai stood up and nodded. All right. Enlai, contact Prime Minister Turtle immediately and bring the experts and disciples of Dragon Palace here. As for how they will act, let them decide. In addition, tell them to be careful of the experts of the Phoenix Clan and the Angel Clan. Once they encounter them, escape immediately. Once they encounter them, escape immediately. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. Keep in touch with all the disciples who entered the Starry Sky universe. In addition, Enlai, you have to be careful. Don't let the experts of the pinnacle races know about your ability. It's best not to let the Void Pagoda be discovered. Wang Xian thought for a while and continued to instruct. Enlai's ability was the same as the Void Royalty in the Void universe. It was best not to let the other pinnacle races know about it. Yes. Enlai nodded. I'll leave this place to you. I'll go take a look around. Wang Xian said and gestured to Enlai. In the next moment, he appeared outside. Now that Enlai's strength had improved, he was a big trump card for the Dragon Palace. Now, he could kill a first-order sovereign in an instant. When he came outside, Wang Xian instantly felt that his strength was suppressed. His original ability to fight above his level was suppressed by 3 levels. However, if the experts from the pinnacle races of the Nine-Source universe came in, Wang Xian's strength would also be comparable to a second-order sovereign. After all, their strength was also suppressed. However, if he were to face a powerful giant beast of the Starry Sky universe, he might not be able to do so. A stellar beast at the pinnacle of the Venerable Realm was already strong enough to fight against Wang Xian. Of course, because of Wang Xian's speed, companion spirits, and Dark Ghost's doppelganger, Wang Xian's strength was almost invincible among second-order sovereigns. Even carnate cardinal treasures are suppressed. This suppressive power is really strong. It seems like it would be best not to provoke the galactic beasts of the Starry Sky universe. Wang Xian murmured. Lan, Lil Mansion, and the others followed the star behemoth experts and flew deeper into the depths of the Starry River. Wang Xian was only familiar with the surroundings of their route and was not familiar with other places. He still needed to explore everything by himself. In addition, the universe AI could no longer be used in the Starry Sky universe. If they wanted to communicate, They needed to use the communication stone plate. Wu Shuo had created a communication stone plate that belonged to the Dragon Palace. The disciples of the Dragon Palace in the universe could communicate with each other through the stone plate. Let's go take a look at that planet. Wang Xian moved his body and approached the planet rapidly. His dragon eyes scanned the planet continuously as his eyes glowed with radiance. This planet, Wang Xian flew over and immediately sensed waves of majestic energy coming from above. He moved and immediately flew over. There are treasures. He moved and immediately came to the top of the planet. Using his energy to sense, he instantly arrived at the ocean of the planet. In his sight, he saw a special blood-red vine growing in the deepest part of the ocean. These vines contained rich water attribute energy. Wang Xian entered the ocean and waved his arm to pull the entire vine up. Using his hand to sense it, he was a little excited. This treasure contains very high energy. It is comparable to a monarch-level divine grass and divine fruit, he murmured. He mumbled to himself. Any random planet had such a treasure. There should be countless of such planets in the universe. Wouldn't it be crazy if there were such treasures every week? There is also something very strange. The entire planet is so full of life, but there are no living creatures. Wang Xian murmured. He felt that this might have something to do with the characteristics of the universe. If it were a 9-origin planet, a planet might give birth to life in a few million years or even less. Another thing was that the star behemoths of the starry sky universe contained special energy in their bodies. Take Lan, Lil Mansion, and the others for example. The energy in their bodies did not belong to any attribute. They also relied on devouring other living creatures to improve. On the contrary, they did not like such divine grass and divine fruit. Wang Xian's eyes flickered slightly. He kept the vine and continued to search the planet. Soon, he found a lot of resources that were useful for cultivation. Apart from these, he also found some special fruits. These fruits did not have 9 attributes. Instead, they contained a special type of energy. Wang Xian took out the one with the smallest energy. After hesitating for a moment, he swallowed it. After entering his stomach, the fruit was digested quickly. A special energy entered his body. This energy was very strange. It could modify the physical body. The energy could strengthen the physical body. These fruits are also useful, but the effects are minimal. These should be the fruits that the star behemoths like to eat. Wang Xian murmured. This starry sky universe is a huge treasure to the 9-origin universe. I can now guess why the cataclysm is so tragic. He guessed. The arrival of the cataclysm and the opening of the universe passage meant that one could enter another universe. This also created a problem. That was, things that were common and useless in one universe were huge treasures in another universe. This would naturally lead to fights. And the treasures of another universe were even more precious to the other universe. Hence, there would be fights over them. Over time, when the cataclysm arrived, there would be killings. Of course, this was just Wang Xian's guess. The cataclysm was so tragic. This might only be one of the reasons. There should be other aspects. Continue to explore. If I can find 100,000 of these planets, I will be able to break through. As Wang Xian spoke, he looked in a direction. With a swift move, he flew over immediately. Compared to the 9-origin universe, 10,000 planets was just a drop in the ocean. In the starry sky universe, there would definitely be many. He felt that it should not be difficult. Given the resources on a planet, 100,000 would be enough for him to break through. His eyes were filled with excitement as he quickly disappeared into the starry sky. And the experts who had entered the pinnacle of the starry sky universe soon saw the vast resources. Chapter 37:19. So many resources. There are actually so many resources and treasures on a single planet. The sorcerer clan's powerhouses were the first to enter the universe. They floated above a planet, their eyes blazing. Just one planet had so many resources. In the universe, a planet was just a drop in the ocean. From this, it could be seen that the starry sky universe definitely possessed an enormous amount of resources. The other peak races soon received the news. They used their communication compasses to immediately send out the news. With so many resources and treasures, it was enough for them to take the risk. The experts who have entered have sent news that there are large amounts of resources in the starry sky universe. The resources of a single planet are comparable to the collection of a weak high-level race. You can take the risk and enter. Before entering, each of you will be given a communication stone plate. You can send messages through this stone plate. In addition, if you discover a treasure and there are giant astral beasts guarding the surroundings, you can tell this information to any of the peak clans. If the treasure is obtained, the discoverer will receive 5% of the resources. Or perhaps it's a treasure that you're satisfied with. Don't worry, we're a group of peak clans, and we won't kill for some treasures. On the side of the sorcerer clan, there were still a few powerful sorcerers who did not enter. When they got the news, they glanced around and said directly. This time, none of the peak-tier races hid anything from the advanced races. There were 2 reasons for this. The first was that the starry sky universe was a complete and powerful universe with a very large surface area. It was not something that peak races like them could explore in a short period of time. The second reason was that the disciples of the other high-ranking races would be able to bring back some information and find more treasure troves. In addition, they were very weak. The treasures that they could get their hands on were not even worth the attention of the peak-level races. If they couldn't get their hands on some precious treasures, they could report it to their peak races. It was a win-win situation. Are there really many treasures? I'll say it again. There's no need for the lords of the peak races to lie to us. If they want to find Laborus, they can totally enslave us. Come, let's go in. Let's go in. Some experts pondered for a moment and immediately entered the starry sky universe. Soon, more and more experts entered. All the strong disciples knew that only by entering this place would they be able to obtain great opportunities. Only then would they have the opportunity to set foot on the peak of the universe. Wang Xian had no idea where the entrance to the starry sky universe was. At this moment, Wang Xian was flying rapidly in the void. At this moment, all the experts and disciples of Dragon Palace had arrived. They flew in all directions of the starry sky. I can't be too fast. I have to be vigilant of my surroundings. If I run into a powerful astral beast, my strength will be suppressed, and I will be in danger. Wang Xian thought to himself as he scanned his surroundings. There's a planet there. After flying for a few hours, a habitable planet appeared in Wang Xian's vision. His figure moved, and he arrived at the planet's surroundings, carefully looking at it. This planet was similar to the previous one, with forests, oceans, mountains, and grasslands. Something's wrong. Those branches are moving again, moving on their own even though there's no wind. But soon, Wang Xian noticed the high mountains of the planet. The tall mountains were exceptionally eye-catching, towering into the clouds. On top of the mountains, there were a bunch of special plants. The plants were gray, and at the top of a high mountain, there was a branch swaying. This branch was alive. It seems that some planets still have life. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he sized up the branch. He discovered that this branch was actually connected to all the branches of the surrounding mountains. In addition, he also discovered a problem. The resources on this planet were not as abundant as the ones he had encountered last time. Not even half of it. Interesting. I can't sense the strength of this branch, but I can test it out. Wang Xian thought to himself. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand, and he swung it down at the branch. Swish, 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 swish. The branch seemed to have sensed some threat and aimed at the 5 elements grindstone. Swish, swish, swish. When the 5 elements grindstone approached, countless densely packed branches suddenly shot up into the sky and attacked the 5 elements grindstone. Wang Xian was taken aback. With a wave of his hand, a wave of energy landed on the 5 elements grindstone. An azure dragon emerged from the grindstone and attacked the branches. Swish, swish, swish. However, at the next moment, something that shocked Wang Xian happened. The branches on the high mountains of the planet shook rapidly. Subsequently, Wang Xian realized that the entire planet was shaking as well. It was as though a horrifying earthquake had struck. Following which, Countless branches extended from the planet. The densely packed branches were extremely horrifying. A horrifying existence that had taken root on the planet. What's going on? Is this a galactic beast? A wood elemental galactic beast? Is he resting here? Or did this planet nurture this galactic beast? Wang Xian was extremely shocked. However, these countless branches did not give him any sense of threat. Destroy it. He swung his arm and transformed it into a flaming dragon claw. A terrifying flaming dragon claw slashed down, crackle, rumble. Following which, intense sounds of attacks could be heard. TSK, TSK, TSK. The countless branches also let out a creepy sound. 5 elements obliteration, die. This humongous branch only possessed the combat strength of a pinnacle supremacy. It was much weaker than Wang Xian. A wave of annihilation energy swept over, and the branches lost their vitality in an instant. Boom, boom, boom. The branches seemed to be in despair as they shook violently. The entire planet also shook violently and cracked open gradually. The planet had collapsed. At the center of the cracked planet, a surge of powerful energy could be felt. At the core of the planet, a ball of green energy was condensed. The energy was filled with vitality and other unique auras. It was mainly wood elemental with other unique energies mixed in. What's this? Wang Xian was shocked. He felt that this energy would be extremely beneficial to his cultivation. Could it be that the branch is a galactic beast that was born on this planet? Most of the energy and resources of the entire planet were absorbed by this galactic beast cub. The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed. The entire planet was like a mother's fetus that was nurturing a powerful and horrifying life. This was also the reason why the galactic beast had such a huge body size and did not need a god nation. If that's the case, I have to be more careful. Wang Xian thought to himself. Chapter 3720. The core of the entire vine contained boundless energy. Wang Xian put it in his hand and sensed the energy. He smiled. The essence of the giant galactic beasts was concentrated in his body. After absorbing it, it would be of great use to cultivators in the Nine Origins universe. The harvest this time was no less than the previous time. After he put it away, he glanced around and flew in a certain direction. Before long, Wang Xian found another planet with life. It had only been a few hours. The planet with life exuded a surging power of fire. He flew over and immediately found a huge volcano in the center of the planet. There was a special metal around the entire volcano. Wang Xian sensed carefully and landed beside the volcano after finding no signs of life. Fire-type godstones are perfect for crafting spirit treasures. Even in the Nine Essences universe, they would be considered precious treasures. Wang Xian looked at the metal, his eyes shining. In the starry universe, other than some special giant galactic beasts who fed on this metal ore was rarely consumed. This was not like the Nine Origins universe, where weapons were also a part of one's strength. Basically, every expert had several weapons. However, the giant galactic beasts did not use weapons, which resulted in a lot of metal ores here. Metal ores that were fought over in the Nine Origins universe could be found everywhere here. TSK. The resources in the starry universe are really rich. Wang Xian sighed as he kept all the metals. Following which, he began to search the entire planet. After collecting a large number of divine herbs, elixir pills, and metal, Wang Xian continued to the next planet. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before he could gather all the resources he needed to level up. While flying in the void, Wang Xian suddenly heard a roar. He looked over and his face turned solemn. Without any hesitation, Wang Xian immediately changed his direction and flew in another direction. At this time, there was no need to offend these giant galactic beasts. After a while, a vibrant continent appeared in his sight. Floating in the void, there was an incomparably lush forest on top of the plate. Wang Xian entered and began to search for treasures. For the next month, Wang Xian continued to fly in the starry universe. Once he sensed the aura of the giant galactic beasts, he would hide immediately. Over the past month, Wang Xian had also discovered that there were quite a number of galactic beasts in the starry sky universe. As they flew, They encountered giant star beasts every day, both strong and weak. For the time being, Wang Xian did not provoke them. In this short month, he had obtained a large number of treasures and found more than 100 habitable planets. Every habitable planet had a bountiful harvest. Even at this rate, I'll only need about 1,000 years to gather enough resources for a breakthrough. With a smile on his face, Wang Xian continued flying forward with his eyes fixed ahead. Another habitable planet. Soon, Wang Xian saw a planet. This planet was 4 to 5 times larger than the one he had seen previously. What's that? Before he could get close, a wave of dense energy came over. He stared at the position above the planet with a look of shock in his eyes. It was an extremely thick tree. The tree wasn't very tall, but it covered an area of at least tens of thousands of kilometers. On this tree, there was a fruit. The fruit was over 1,000 kilometers in size. This was the largest fruit Wang Xian had ever seen. Most importantly, there was a strong attraction coming from this fruit. This fruit is huge. It contains a lot of energy. Wang Xian was slightly shocked. He scanned the surroundings and did not sense any other life aura. It was floating above the fruit. Compared to the entire fruit, he looked incomparably tiny. The energy it contains. This fruit is extraordinary. Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. Just this fruit alone was 10 times more than what he had obtained in the past month. This starry universe is really full of treasures. As Wang Xian spoke, he slowly landed on the fruit. When his body landed on the fruit, he suddenly felt the sky turning dark. A white light, like a cloud, instantly enveloped him. The sudden change shocked Wang Xian. In the next moment, he felt something horrifying coming from below him. A pair of humongous eyes suddenly appeared on the left and right of the fruit. This pair of eyes was extremely tragic and contained a strange energy. Oh no, this entire planet is a giant star beast. Wang Xian felt the horrifying aura of this giant star beast and his expression changed drastically. Without any hesitation, he wanted to escape far away. However, at this moment, Wang Xian strangely realized that the surrounding white clouds suddenly surged into his body. An extremely heavy force came over. He felt as if his body was being crushed by an endless mountain, causing his speed to drop to the limit. What kind of giant star beast is this? Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. Without any hesitation, a scroll appeared in his palm. He opened the scroll and a wave of energy shrouded him. The giant star beast below seemed to have sensed something as a huge cloud shrouded him from its eyes. Fortunately, in the next instant, Wang Xian's figure disappeared. The surrounding scenery changed. Wang Xian realized that he was surrounded by fiery red meteorites. Each meteorite carried a strong force as it flew in the void. Huff huff. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He looked at his own body, which still felt extremely heavy. What kind of giant star beast is this? Such a strange attack. If I had run a little slower, I would have been left there. Wang Xian murmured with lingering fear. The danger was really high. There are many treasures in the starry sky universe, but it is also very dangerous. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. If he did not have a treasure like the space scroll, he would have died for sure. One should know that his current strength was comparable to a second-order universe lord. Seems like I have to let the dark ghost doppelganger explore next time. This way, the safety will be greatly improved. Wang Xian murmured. He had been a little careless. Looking around, Wang Xian sent a message through the communication stone plate of the Dragon Palace, reminding all the disciples of the Dragon Palace to be careful. Continue. After sending the message, Wang Xian cleaned up the strange energy in his body. He looked around and flew in a direction. With the space scroll's random teleportation, he had no idea how far he was from where he was just now. Chapter 3721. This part of the void is very unique. Dense clusters of meteorites are shuttling around at high speed. Wang Xian flew in this part of the void. But after flying for half an hour, he realized that there were still flaming meteorites ahead. This was another starry sky. As he did not have a map of the surroundings, he could only continue flying forward. After flying for another 3 to 4 hours, He realized that the meteorites ahead were moving faster and faster. At this speed, even Wang Xian had to dodge with all his might. This made him frown slightly. Did I go in the wrong direction? He murmured to himself. But Wang Xian did not stop. 3 to 4 hours was nothing to him. As he continued flying forward, the rate of damage was increasing. A day later, Wang Xian could not even keep up with the speed of these meteorites. I can't go on. I can't continue. Wang Xian stopped and stood in the void with a slight frown. He hesitated for a moment and looked at the surrounding meteorites, as well as the position behind him. Rumble. However, at this moment, a loud sound was heard. Wang Xian looked over and saw a black meteorite colliding with another meteorite. The other meteorite was instantly smashed into pieces. Huh! Wang Xian's eyes swept over and landed on the black meteorite. His eyes flickered. The black meteorite emitted a dark energy. The energy of the entire meteorite was extremely pure. The surrounding meteorites were all shuttling at a terrifying speed. The black meteorite could smash the other meteorites into pieces. One could imagine how sturdy it was. Given the speed of the surrounding meteorites, even an innate spiritual treasure might suffer a blow if it collided with it. But that black meteorite, Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and looked at the black glow. With a thought, he instantly flew towards a meteorite. Bam! His body landed on the meteorite, and the thorny vines held him in place. Wang Xian shook his body and 4 dark ghost avatars appeared around him. These meteorites are flying at high speed. Other than the flames from the friction, there are no other attacks. The dark ghost avatars can ignore physical attacks and have a great advantage here. Wang Xian thought to himself. The 4 dark ghost avatars locked onto the black meteorite that was flying at high speed. With a swift move, they flew over. Wong wong wong. As the 4 dark ghost avatars approached, streams of dark energy wrapped around the black meteorite. The rate of loss instantly slowed down. Boom. However, just as it descended, a meteor flew over from behind and crashed into it, creating a loud noise. The power of darkness wrapped around the meteorite instantly collapsed, and the black meteorite continued to fly forward. No, we can't let the meteorites behind hit the top. Wang Xian moved and the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. Continue. The 4 dark ghost avatars continued to wrap around the meteor, their powerful strength causing it to slowly weaken. Wang Xian looked behind him and waved his arm when he saw a meteorite chasing after him. The 5 elements grindstone directly smashed into the meteorite behind it. Boom. The damage from the rear was scattered in all directions. 5 divine dragons emerged from the 5 elements grindstone. They raised their heads and charged at the beasts behind them. Under the control of the dark ghost clone, the black meteor slowed down until it came to a complete stop. Wang Xian moved and immediately came before the black meteorite. The meteorite was only 1,000 meters in size, and its extreme speed made it look as if there were no impurities on it. Wang Xian placed his arm on it and immediately sensed a pure power of darkness. This was a type of metal, a special and powerful metal. At the very least, Wang Xian had never seen such a powerful metal in the Nine-Source universe. Oh, I wonder if the Tai Chi dragon plate can absorb it. With a thought, the Tai Chi dragon plate appeared in front of him. He placed the powerful meteorite on top of the Tai Chi dragon plate. Wang. The Tai Chi dragon plate began to spin, slowly grinding away the energy and essence of the meteorite, and absorbing it. It's working. Soon, Wang Xian's face lit up with excitement. It was working. The Tai Chi dragon plate could absorb it, and he could sense that the Tai Chi dragon plate was getting a little stronger. If I can get enough of this metal meteorite, there's a chance for the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate to make breakthroughs. Wang Xian's face lit up with delight. This material was different from inborn cardinal treasures. Inborn cardinal treasures contained a type of soul. If one wanted to absorb an inborn cardinal treasure, the inborn cardinal treasure would resist on its own. The Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone could not do it. On the other hand, this meteorite was a pure metal. All he had to do was grind away and absorb it bit by bit. If I can find the first meteorite like this, I should be able to find the second one. Murmuring to himself, He jumped down from a meteorite and stared at the spot in front of him. At the same time, he ordered the 4 Nether Ghost doppelgangers to fly forward and monitor the surroundings. Together with the Nether Ghost doppelgangers, Wang Xian could monitor a large area. Next, Wang Xian stood there and waited quietly. Time ticked by, but there were thousands of meteorites flying by in every second. Each meteorite carried a terrifying amount of energy. After a few hours, Wang Xian suddenly sensed something. One of the Nether Ghost doppelgangers saw a special meteorite. It was a golden meteorite, and it was emitting golden light at a terrifying speed. Netherworld Dragon Transformation. He moved and instantly replaced that Nether Ghost doppelganger. At the same time, his body shook, and 4 Nether Ghost doppelgangers appeared before him. Swish, swish, swish. Wang Xian scanned the surroundings and immediately flew towards that piece of metal. Swish, swish, swish. The Nether Ghost doppelgangers wrapped the meteorite with dark energy, and Wang Xian also released thistles and thorns to prevent it from flying. The 5 elements grindstone hovered behind him, attacking the meteorite behind him to prevent it from crashing over. This golden meteorite is even bigger than the dark attribute one. Great, looks like there's hope for the Tai Chi Dragon Board and the 5 elements grindstone to break through. Wang Xian revealed a smile. He couldn't help but sigh. The starry universe was really full of treasures. If a large number of experts and disciples from the 9-source universe were to enter, there would definitely be a lot of experts. Perhaps some of the advanced races could be promoted to the pinnacle races. He said that the opportunities here were great. After dealing with the golden meteorite, Wang Xian continued to scan the surroundings. This time, his luck wasn't as good as before. 10 days later, he encountered another flying piece of metal. It was a fire attribute meteorite metal. Let's go to the source. After keeping it, Wang Xian flew towards the direction where the meteorite came from while searching for it. Chapter 3722. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Wang Xian shuttled through the meteorites and headed in the direction the meteorites came from. Another one. To his left and right, the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers were flying at the same speed. When Wang Xian sensed this special and powerful metal, a smile appeared on his face. Moving his body, he instantly executed the dark ghost transformation and intercepted the piece of metal. That's the 3rd one. Continue. Wang Xian revealed a faint smile as he looked ahead. With a jerk of his body, he continued flying forward. His speed wasn't slow. Days passed. Around him, the 5 elements grindstone and Tai Chi dragon plate absorbed the powerful metals and strengthened them. Such special metals weren't common. Sometimes, Wang Xian would encounter one in a day or 2. Sometimes, he wouldn't even encounter one after a dozen days. Fortunately, he could get some every month. This made Wang Xian sigh again. This was a land of treasures. He continued flying in the direction of the meteorites. After a few years, Wang Xian had lost track of how far he had flown, but he still couldn't see the end. He didn't stop. Although these metals couldn't enhance his strength, they could enhance the Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone. With the enhancement of the Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone, his strength would naturally improve as well. Wang Wang. After flying in this area for about 10 years, a majestic energy suddenly came from above and in front of him. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes lit up with excitement. They broke through. What a coincidence. The Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone broke through at the same time. Wang Xian was pleasantly surprised. The 2 treasures that couldn't be enhanced in the 9 Origins universe had broken through in 10 years here. Over the past 10 years, Wang Xian had obtained over 100 pieces of special metals. After absorbing all of them, the 2 treasures had been enhanced. After the enhancement, Wang Xian would have an invincible defense among second-order universe sovereigns. The 5 elements grindstone could have 3 second-order universe sovereigns. Coupled with Wang Xian's own strength, it was enough to contend with third-order universe sovereigns. Of course, in this universe, Wang Xian's strength would be suppressed by 3 levels. Rumble. The 2 treasures glowed as they completed their transformation. Seeing this, Wang Xian revealed a smile. Let's continue. Perhaps if we stay here for 1,000 years, the Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone will improve again. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with excitement. With a swift move, he continued to fly forward. Countless meteorites flew past him rapidly. After the breakthrough of the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon board, Wang Xian's strength had increased tremendously. Intercepting some special metallic meteors would be even easier. However, whether or not he could encounter a metallic meteorite depended on his luck. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, the passageway between the starry sky and the 9 essences universes had been open for more than 100 years. In the short span of 100 years, everything about the starry sky universe spread to the 9 essences universe with terrifying speed. There are treasures everywhere in the universe. Even a planet with life has a large number of treasures. This is incredible. The entire starry sky universe seems as if it hasn't been mined at all. There are so many treasures. Opportunities are often accompanied by danger. The patriarch of the 5 cauldron demons was devoured by an extremely terrifying astral beast above a vital planet. After entering the starry sky universe, if I can stay there for hundreds of millions of years without dying, my strength will definitely increase to a terrifying level. Information after information came from the starry sky universe, shocking everyone. Soon after, more and more experts and disciples stepped into the starry sky universe. Even if there were dangers, compared to the opportunities, this little bit of danger was nothing. In fact, more than a decade after Wang Xian stepped into the starry sky universe, Prime Minister Turtle and the rest decided to send another 100,000 Dragon Palace disciples into the starry sky universe. Even if there were some risks. At most, Enlai would have to run a little more and bring the branches of the soul-returning wood for treatment. There were simply too many resources in the starry sky universe. In fact, this was normal. The number of living beings in the starry sky universe was a few billion times less than the 9 essences universe. In the entire starry sky universe, there were no other living beings other than the astral beasts. This resulted in all the treasures that were born in the past 20 billion years. On top of that, many astral beasts were not interested in fruits with attributes. This resulted in many treasures being preserved. Of course, the risks involved weren't small. It's been 100 years and the Dragon Palace hasn't sent any experts into the starry sky universe. At the same time, at the entrance of the starry sky universe, the third prince frowned slightly and asked the burly battle angel beside him. "Third prince, I didn't sense any disciples with the divine dragon bloodline entering." The 12-winged battle angel shook his head. He had been standing here all this while and could sense the treasures. It was impossible that he didn't sense anything. That shouldn't be the case. Could it be that the Dragon Palace hasn't sent any experts in yet? The third prince mumbled to himself as he looked to the side. Beside him, the Qingjiang Aqua Phoenix shook her head. Wang. At this moment, several terrifying figures flew over. The third prince looked over and his eyes flickered. "Big brother." He looked at a figure and called out to him. "Elder, elder, ancestor Huang." In the surroundings, the experts from the various peak races also shouted at the terrifying figures that were flying over one after another. Let's enter the starry sky universe. Third brother, stay here and watch." The 12-winged battle angel that the third prince called Big Brother looked at him and said plainly. The third prince nodded. In the next moment, a dozen terrifying figures flew into the starry sky universe. From the aura they exuded, every one of them was a top-notch expert in the sovereign realm. There was a reason why the pinnacle races had only sent a dozen experts into the starry sky universe after 100 years. If experts that were too strong entered the starry sky universe, they might incur the wrath and rejection of the terrifying giant space beasts. After all, they were invaders, and the aura of invaders was different from the giant space beasts. For example, in the Nine-Source universe, unless it was the mountain and sea realm, the giant space beasts would definitely be hunted down if they appeared in other places. It was the same in the starry sky universe. The terrifying existences of the starry sky universe might not care if some weak experts entered. However, if experts entered, it would mean that they were invading, and they might incur the wrath of countless giant space beasts. This time, the 12 pinnacle races had sent an expert in just to probe the starry sky universe. If they incurred the wrath of the giant space beasts, they could only seek revenge. Lions might not care if an ant entered their territory, but they would care if a wolf entered. Chapter 37:23. Wang Xian had no idea where the entrance was. He was still shuttling through the meteorites at high speed. When he encountered some metallic meteorites, he would stop them immediately. Time was the most worthless thing in the universe. 100 years passed in the blink of an eye. In this 100 years, he had collected quite a number of metallic meteorites. However, the Tai Chi dragon plate and 5 elements grindstone required too much metal to make further breakthroughs. Where is the end of these meteorites? I have been flying for 200 years. Other than the meteorites slowing down a little, nothing else has changed. Wang Xian frowned slightly. After flying for 200 years, this distance was already very far. However, he still hadn't reached the end. This made him a little hesitant. This starting position, could it be the starting point of the starry sky universe? I'll fly for another 100 years. If I still can't reach the end, I'll just fly to the side. Wang Xian made up his mind and continued flying forward at high speed. Boom, boom, boom. However, in less than 100 years, the surrounding meteorites had slowed down to a very low speed. At the same time, a terrifying roar was heard. What's going on? Wang Xian looked ahead and saw the roar coming from the front. As far as he could see, he did not see anything. His eyes flickered as he continued flying forward. As he got closer, the sound got louder and more terrifying. It was a little deafening. But after flying for an entire day, a shocking scene appeared in his line of sight. That is. He focused his eyes and looked ahead. He felt his heart tighten. In front of him, a shocking scene entered his eyes. It was a huge continent. Wang Xian couldn't feel how big the continent was. Above the continent, the sky seemed to have been torn apart. A horrifying tornado stood there. The humongous tornado engulfed the entire continent. Countless rocks on the continent were swept into the sky and flew in his direction. Some rocks were turned into powder. Some rocks were glowing with a thick luster. Wang Xian felt that he would be torn apart if he were to enter this horrifying tornado. It was too horrifying. It was so horrifying that he was a little shocked. At this moment, a roar was heard. Wang Xian looked over and saw a huge galactic beast with a metallic luster flying towards the edge of the horrifying tornado. There was a piece of earthy yellow metal. The entire piece of metal was 100 times larger than what Wang Xian had obtained. It was hundreds of thousands of meters in size. However, the size of the star behemoth was even more terrifying. The giant starry sky beast opened its mouth wide and swallowed the piece of metal. The incomparably huge piece of metal was directly swallowed into his stomach. As if he had eaten his fill, he swayed his huge body and floated on a huge meteorite next to him. Seeing this, Wang Xian pursed his lips and swept his gaze across the surroundings. So many star behemoth. Wang Xian would not have known if he had not observed. Now that he had seen it, Wang Xian's pupils constricted. In his line of sight, there were a total of 10 giant space beasts. They were lying on some meteorites. Some were sleeping, while others were staring at the direction of the storm, as if they were waiting for some metal meteorites. There are so many giant star beasts. These giant star beasts feed on these metals. Wang Xian murmured. This was the source of the meteorite. But this source was too shocking. Because he was too far away, he could not sense the strength of these giant star beasts. However, since he could easily shatter some meteorites, his strength could easily annihilate Wang Xian. He was no match for them. The giant star beasts here seem to be from the same race. They have a metallic exterior and a huge metal tail. Especially their tails, they look very strong. Wang Xian analyzed and did not dare to go any closer. He stood on a meteorite behind and watched from afar. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the heart of the storm as the rumbling sound reached his ears. He realized that many pieces of metal were flying out from here. Some of the larger pieces of metal were swallowed by the giant star beasts. Only some of the smaller pieces of metal were not devoured by the giant star beasts, as though they were nothing in their eyes. With a glance, Wang Xian could see more than 10 pieces. So these giant star beasts are not interested in the metals I got, Wang Xian murmured as he looked at the huge pieces of metal that flew out from time to time. His eyes were burning with passion. If he could get 3 or 4 pieces of such a huge piece of metal, the Tai Chi dragon plate and 5 elements grindstone could be upgraded again. Forget it. These giant star beasts should all be above the ruler level. I'm no match for them. It's not a bad idea to get those smaller pieces. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the few pieces of metal that flew out. After a moment of hesitation, he flew over immediately. He did not dare to unleash his full power and chased after the 3 pieces of metal quickly. The Dark Ghost Doppelganger, Tai Chi Dragon Plate, and 5 Elements Grindstone were all intercepted together. Bam, bam, bam. Violent collisions were heard. However, these violent collisions were completely drowned out by the sound of the storm. The group of giant star beasts did not notice. This made him heave a sigh of relief. Roar, roar, roar. However, just as he had put away all 3 pieces of metal, an angry voice suddenly sounded. The sudden voice caused him to be slightly startled. He hurriedly turned his gaze over. Damn! In his sight, a strange giant star beast with a huge mouth and a body like a meteorite was attacking Wang Xian angrily. His body was brown and almost no different from a meteorite. His body was filled with a tough and unparalleled aura. He opened his mouth and a golden energy rock flew towards Wang Xian. Wang Xian kept the metal immediately. With a move, he swung his arm. A dragon claw met his attack directly. Boom! An explosion sounded and the attack of the giant star beast was smashed by Wang Xian. Sensing the power of the attack, Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was within the range of resistance. This giant star beast could fight. This guy must be here to pick up the scraps. He murmured as he stared at Wang Xian and scanned the surroundings cautiously. Roar, roar, roar. This galactic giant beast let out another furious roar and charged towards Wang Xian. Swish, swish, swish. Wang Xian moved. For nether ghost avatars passed through the meteorites and attacked him with the claws of the devil dragon. Obliteration, impact. Wang Xian waved his arm and the 5 dragon heads on the Tai Chi dragon plate in the sky extended out and spat out a terrifying torrent. The torrent condensed and formed a terrifying obliteration force. Chapter 37-24, Rumble, Rumble, Rumble. Seeing Wang Xian's attack, the metallic glow on the giant galactic beast dispersed to the surrounding. The surrounding meteorites seemed to be attracted by a huge force as they blasted towards Wang Xian and the Dark Ghost doppelgangers. Intense rumbling sounds rang out. Wang Xian's attacks were blocked one after another. It's not much stronger than me. I can fight it. Wang Xian stared at the horrifying giant galactic beast. With a move, he transformed into his divine dragon form. Around him, the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers also transformed into dark dragons and stared coldly at the giant galactic beast. Roar, roar. The giant galactic beast was infuriated. It lifted its head slightly and its body began to transform. His entire body was like a transformer, turning into a huge beast. A giant galactic beast with 8 arms. Huh! When Wang Xian looked over, he was shocked. Transforming its body into another form. This giant galactic beast was really something. Towering dragon horn. Wang Xian's dragon horn emitted a beam of light and blasted towards the beast. At the same time, the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers attacked. Rumble. Seeing Wang Xian's law of Dharma attack, the giant galactic beast showed no fear. It raised its 2 arms and blasted back. With a dull thud, the giant galactic beast flew back uncontrollably. At this time, the attacks of the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers arrived at the same time. Bam, bam, bam. His other 6 arms met the attacks of the dark ghost doppelgangers. His body is like indestructible metal. The defense of this giant galactic beast is too tough. Wang Xian frowned slightly when he saw this scene. He stretched out his dragon claws and the 5 elements grindstone floated above his head. The Tai Chi dragon plate floated around him and flew towards him. This giant galactic beast was clearly better at close combat. Seeing Wang Xian's attack, it threw a huge fist towards him. Let's try his fist attack first. Wang Xian did not dodge. His dragon claws met the fist. Tai Chi rotated on his dragon claws. Bam! A terrifying collision sounded again. The fist of the giant galactic beast landed on Wang Xian's dragon claws but did not break the defense of the Tai Chi dragon plate. At the same time, the Tai Chi dragon plate countered with a strong force. All right. When Wang Xian sensed this, he was elated. This galactic beast could not break through the defense of the Tai Chi dragon coil. If it couldn't be broken, it wouldn't be a threat to him at all. Buzz buzz. On the top of Wang Xian's head, 5 dragon heads emerged from the Tai Chi dragon plate and bombarded the giant star beast. Ka. An earthy yellow energy floated around his body to block the attack. Mighty heavenly dragon, Wang Xian bellowed. A huge illusory shadow of a divine dragon charged towards him. Dark ghost clone, kill. The 4 dark ghost avatars moved, attacking the giant star beast from all directions at the same time. Boom boom boom. One attack after another landed in front of him, and the earthy yellow energy was destroyed. His body was like a piece of metal, with cracks appearing all over it. There was no flesh or blood, as if they were made of metal. Boom. It opened its mouth, and sharp metal spewed out from its mouth. Physical attacks can be ignored. Wang Xian sensed this attack. With a thought, the 4 nether ghost doppelgangers closed in on him in an instant, and attacks continued to land on him. This giant star beast didn't seem to understand why its opponent could ignore its attacks completely. Its huge eyes revealed a hint of unease. He realized that the enemy was a little difficult to deal with. This giant star beast's attacks are more towards physical attacks. The uniqueness of the dark ghost avatars can almost ignore its attacks. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he controlled the dark ghost avatars to close in and attack. Boom boom boom. The infuriated giant star beast bombarded the dark ghost avatars with its 8 arms, emitting a golden glow. This was an attack of the metal attribute. Seeing the giant star beast besieging the dark ghost avatars, Wang Xian controlled the 5 elements grindstone to continue its attack. At the same time, 8 dragon pillars rose in the surroundings. Each dragon pillar had a divine dragon entrenched on it. Boom boom boom. Sounds of bombardment came again. The battle with this giant star beast was a little primitive. It was a direct confrontation. This giant star beast's defense was terrifying, and its destructive power was very strong. In addition, it could control the surrounding meteorites. If not for Wang Xian's strength and the uniqueness of the dark ghost avatars, it would be difficult to deal with it at the same level. Cracks appeared on the giant star beast's body, and it became more and more violent. It locked its eyes on Wang Xian. At this moment, it completely ignored the attacks of the dark ghost avatars and attacked him. At this point in the battle, it knew that Wang Xian was the leader. Moreover, Wang Xian posed a greater threat to it. Hee. Wang Xian saw it ignoring the attacks of the dark ghost avatars and charging towards him. A smile appeared on his face. The 4 dark ghost avatars closed in on him rapidly. They were only 10,000 meters away from him. Thick metal shields rose around the giant star beast as it continued to stare at Wang Xian. Its fist radiated brilliance as it punched towards Wang Xian. Dark dragon transformation. Just as the 8 arms of the giant star beast were about to hit Wang Xian, his body began to turn illusory. In the next moment, his body transformed into the dark ghost avatars above the giant star beast. Wind and thunder dragon, kill. Terrifying wind and thunder power was released from the unbeginning sacred wings instantly. It condensed into a divine dragon wrapped in wind and thunder and charged downward. At such a close distance, the giant star beast couldn't dodge at all. 5 elements annihilation plate. At the same time, the 5 elements grindstone released its strongest attack. An incomparably huge grindstone followed the wind and thunder dragon and charged downward. Sensing the threat of death, the giant star beast roared in horror. Boom boom boom. One attack after another landed on his body. His body began to crumble, and pieces of his body began to crack. Wang Xian extended his dragon claws and grabbed at one of the cracks. Immediately, he grabbed it in his hand. The destructive force washed away the collapsed area, and it gradually lost its vitality. With a wave of Wang Xian's dragon claws, Countless chains wrapped around the giant star beast. Obliterate its vitality, Wang Xian bellowed. The energy released by the five elements grindstone continued to attack. The vitality of the giant star beast was disappearing rapidly. Soon, a humongous corpse was left behind. Looking at the corpse, Wang Xian's eyes lit up. The corpse of the giant star beast was very strange. It looked exactly like metal. Chapter 3725. The metal plate corpse was similar to the metal meteorites, but completely different. It contained a trace of metal element. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he watched. The entire corpse of the giant starry sky beast was incomparably huge, comparable to a small planet. Wang Xian waved his arm and the five elements grindstone landed beside the corpse. The grindstone rotated and obliterated the corpse. I can absorb it. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled when he realized that the five elements grindstone could absorb the corpse. The five elements grindstone should be able to improve significantly by absorbing the corpse. His eyes swept around, carefully sizing up the place. The entire area was huge. There was a giant starry sky beast here. Perhaps there were more of them around. If he could kill one or two more, the strength of the five elements grindstone should be able to achieve another breakthrough. After all, this giant starry sky beast contained too much metal. He scanned for a while but did not find the first giant starry sky beast. Instead, he saw a piece of metal flying over from the storm. The metal was not big, and the giant starry sky beasts around the storm were not interested. Wang Xian moved and flew over immediately. After easily obtaining another piece of metal, he smiled. The speed of obtaining metal meteorites here was several times faster than in space. Almost every few hours, a metal meteor could be seen flying out from the inside. Although there were no astral beasts here, one meteorite a day was enough to accumulate enough resources for the five elements grindstone to break through if they stayed here for 100 years. It would be great if I could get the corpse of the giant starry sky beast in the center of the storm mainland. Wang Xian fantasized, but he did not dare to go near those giant starry sky beasts. The giant starry sky beast outside was already so strong. It would be a piece of cake for the one in the center of the storm mainland to kill him. Wang Xian found a better spot, floated in the void, and waited quietly. Time passed quickly again. It was different from what Wang Xian had expected. 100 years had passed, but he did not gather enough metal for the five elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate. The main reason was that after 50 years, the meteorites that were swept into the sky turned into a large amount of seawater. The seawater was condensed by the terrifying power of the storm, forming crystals. These crystals were beneficial to the cultivation of water element cultivators, but they were not too precious. For a full 50 years, it was these crystals that flew out, occasionally mixed with some metal ores. This caused his harvest to decrease by about 10 times. Even the giant star behemoths on the other side of the storm continent were lying there motionlessly, as if they had fallen into a deep sleep. I'll wait for another 10 years. If it's still like this, I can consider changing places. Wang Xian looked ahead with sparkling eyes. The rate at which they could obtain meteors had already dropped significantly. It was not as good as searching for habitable planets elsewhere. However, there was also an advantage to staying here, and that was that it was safer. Boom, boom, boom. Wang Xian stood in the void and watched quietly as the horrifying sounds of the storm continued. All of a sudden, a small but extremely dazzling piece of metal flew out of the storm. At this moment, a piece of metal that was emitting a cold glow appeared. It was like a block of ice. The entire block of ice was 1,000 meters wide, but the energy it contained was extremely terrifying. The storm that was engulfing this piece of metal seemed to have been sealed, and the speed of the storm in the surrounding area was greatly reduced. The appearance of a special piece of metal immediately attracted the attention of a huge sleeping star behemoth. That giant star beast lifted its head and stared at this special piece of metal. It did not devour it immediately. However, after hesitating for dozens of seconds, this giant star beast immediately swayed its huge body and flew towards that special piece of metal. At this moment, another giant star beast flew up and roared at the giant star beast in front of it. When the giant star beast in front of it heard this majestic roar, It swayed its huge body and gradually stopped, not daring to compete with it. That giant star beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed that piece of cold metal. Fart. However, in the next instant, that piece of cold metal pierced through its head and continued flying away. That giant star beast was in pain and let out an incomparably intense scream. Some of the surrounding giant star behemoths lifted their heads and looked at that piece of cold metal with fear. Roar, roar. That giant star beast was still roaring in pain, while the rest of the giant star behemoths lowered their heads slightly. Huh! That piece of cold metal could penetrate the head of that giant star beast in an instant. Wang Xian was shocked when he saw this. That giant star beast was terrifyingly strong. However, it was penetrated by that piece of cold metal in an instant. That piece of cold metal was definitely not simple. Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. He looked at that piece of cold metal. Without any hesitation, he flew straight towards that piece of metal. As he neared the front of that piece of metal, he felt an extreme chill, causing him to hold his breath for a moment. Just a piece of metal and it's already so strong. This is unbelievable. Wang Xian sensed it and his expression changed. He waved his arm slightly and a bunch of thorny vines wrapped around it. However, when the thorny vines wrapped around it, they were gradually frozen and cracked. It was completely useless. Wang Xian tried to stop it with other attributes, but to no avail. That piece of cold metal continued to fly forward at high speed. Wang Xian frowned slightly. Without any hesitation, he flew to the front and slammed the meteorites towards it. Regardless of which meteorites collided with it, they would be crushed immediately. Wang Xian did not stop. One meteorite after another was bombarded and flew forward continuously. Although the cold metal was very special, its speed was completely reduced by Wang Xian's constant obstruction and collision with the meteorite. This made him delighted as he continued to reduce the speed of the cold metal. Success. He followed this piece of cold metal for a total of 5 days. During these 5 days, he had been obstructing it continuously. On this day, this piece of ice metal finally stopped. Seeing this scene, his eyes lit up. A piece of cold metal that could easily penetrate the head of a powerful giant star beast must be extraordinary. One should know that the group of giant star behemoths was extremely terrifying. Wang Xian immediately approached the cold metal and the extreme chill came again. The white, special metal meteorites were shining brightly. Chapter 37-26, Huff Huff. Wang Xian took a deep breath and stared at the piece of ice metal. He channeled all his energy and approached it. His palm landed gently on it. Instantly, he felt a freezing sensation. One should know that Wang Xian wasn't weak. Although he was suppressed in the universe, his physical strength was still there. This ice gave him a feeling that he was going to be frozen. Can this 5 elements great grindstone devour it? Wang Xian couldn't help but doubt. After a moment of hesitation, he let the 5 elements great grindstone hover above him. The 5 elements great grindstone grinded the entire piece of ice metal like a millstone. After waves of energy landed on it, only indiscernible ice chips fell from it. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. It could be devoured, but it would probably take a long time. As long as it can be devoured, the 5 elements great grindstone will devour it. I'm 100% sure that I can improve again. Wang Xian murmured to himself as he looked around. In 5 days, he had flown a long distance. He was hesitating whether to return to his previous position or go somewhere else. Forget it. I'll go to other places to continue exploring. After much hesitation, he made up his mind. However, Wang Xian had set up a demonic soul altar here. Through this demonic soul altar, he could teleport and lie over instantly. Not only that, Wang Xian was prepared to set up a demonic soul altar when he came across some treasured lands in the future. In this way, even if he didn't come, the disciples of the Dragon Palace could come over. Let's go. I've gained quite a lot over the past 200 years. With a smile on his face, Wang Xian made a move and flew towards the left. The left was the way to leave this place. He had already checked it out. While flying in the void, he kept the 5 elements great grindstone and allowed it to absorb the ice metal bit by bit. After flying in the void for 10 years, Wang Xian finally flew out of the area shrouded by meteorites. I wonder where in the universe this belongs to. Let's go. He scanned his surroundings and could only choose one direction as he flew aimlessly. Hey! What good luck! After flying for more than 10 days, he saw a dozen planets lined up in the void ahead. Every planet was exuding dense vitality and lush greenery. Wang Xian increased his speed and soon arrived in front of the planets. He scanned them with his eyes. There's something wrong with those 2 planets. Soon, Wang Xian noticed some problems. 2 of the planets had signs of life. Buzz. Wang Xian moved and 2 nether ghost doppelgangers appeared beside him. They immediately flew towards the 2 habitable planets. As the 2 nether ghost avatars drew closer, they were even more certain that there were star behemoths on those 2 planets. This caused a trace of vigilance to appear on his face. Whoosh whoosh. At this time, 2 more dark ghost avatars appeared around him. These 2 avatars quickly flew towards another life planet and gathered some of the divine fruits and divine grasses on them. Whoosh 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 whoosh. Right here, my lords. There are over a dozen habitable planets and 2 giant star behemoth. Right at this moment, a burst of energy suddenly appeared from behind. A faint voice could be heard. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. Waves of dark energy instantly filled his body and enveloped him completely. He tried his best to suppress the dragon might on his body as he looked behind him. With a sweep of his gaze, he saw more than a dozen figures flying over. At the head of the group were 3 fire phoenixes. They flapped their phoenix wings and looked exceptionally sacred. Around them were more than a dozen demonic beasts with similar wings. More than a dozen figures flew over. At this time, they also noticed Wang Xian floating in the air. Their eyes lit up. The 3 fire phoenixes looked at Wang Xian and sized him up. Oh no, other experts are coming. When the dozen demonic beasts saw Wang Xian, they immediately frowned and their faces were filled with vigilance. Which race is he from? Dark energy. He doesn't look like the nether race or the skeleton race. I can't sense his aura. He might be an expert from our advanced races. The dozen demonic beasts transmitted their voices as they stared at Wang Xian with flickering eyes. Which expert is that ahead? We discovered this place first. You should leave quickly. A demonic beast stared at Wang Xian and said. I didn't expect to meet a disciple from a 9-essence world. Wang Xian swept his gaze across them and squinted his eyes at the 3 fire phoenixes. Wang Xian did not sense any threat from the 3 fire phoenixes. This time, there were many experts from various pinnacle races here. However, the top experts among the sovereigns did not enter. Their strengths were all below 4th or 5th order sovereigns. Given Wang Xian's current strength, he did not really care if he met some pinnacle races. Treasures belong to those with strength. Whoever can get it will own it. Wang Xian stared at them and said plainly. Whoosh in Feng, there's no need. Those 2 giant space beasts are not very strong. I think we can tame them. Great. Giant space beasts as mounts. How majestic. They will be of great help to us when they grow. The 3 fire phoenixes in the middle suddenly spoke. They did not seem to care about Wang Xian at all. In fact, that was the case. Most importantly, they couldn't sense the aura of a ruler from Wang Xian. Any expert who broke through to the sovereign realm would experience some changes in their aura and aura. These changes might not be noticeable to other experts, but as sovereigns, they could sense it in an instant. That figure had not even broken through to the universe sovereign realm. As such, there was no need to care about him. Even if the other party was from another pinnacle race and had not reached the sovereign realm, they did not need to care about him. Since that's the case, let's do it. The 3 fire phoenixes looked at each other, flapped their wings, and flew straight ahead. When they came to Wang Xian's right, they looked at him. The fire phoenix in the middle said, I don't care which race you are from. Get out of here immediately. This place belongs to us. When Wang Xian heard them, he raised his eyebrows slightly, and his eyes shone brightly. After the fire phoenix in the middle finished speaking, he turned around and locked his gaze on a planet with life. On this planet, they could feel the aura of the giant space beasts. Phoenix race. When Wang Xian heard their soft shout and felt their strength, a cold smile appeared on his face. In the next moment, the unbeginning saint wings on his back flapped, and he disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already in front of a fire phoenix. Chapter 37:27. Wang Xian's sudden disappearance caught the attention of the fire phoenix in the middle. When he saw Wang Xian appearing beside them in an instant, his pupils constricted. "Damn it! Shit! Dodge!" he hurriedly shouted. However, while he had reacted, the fire phoenix beside him hadn't. Wang Xian stretched out his arm with a claw of darkness in his palm and grabbed at the fire phoenix beside him. The claw of darkness in his hand was an innate cardinal treasure that he had obtained from the Invincible domain. With the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate, innate cardinal treasures were useless against Wang Xian. Wang Xian basically did not use innate cardinal treasures, but this time, he purposely used an innate cardinal treasure. The horrifying claw of darkness entered the fire phoenix's body, followed his blood, and arrived at his heart. Every innate cardinal treasure had a strange and horrifying ability. For example, this claw of darkness was called the claw of the heart. Once it entered the body, it would enter the heart. Such innate cardinal treasures were very powerful. Of course, to Wang Xian, it was more convenient to use the 5 elements grindstone. The claw of the heart entered his body, causing the fire phoenix to let out a shrill scream. He turned his head and stared at Wang Xian in horror. However, under the shroud of darkness, he could only see a blood-red pupil. Damn it! The hearts of the other 2 fire phoenixes thumped violently. They had completely disregarded this figure because they could not sense the aura of a sovereign from him. However, this sudden burst of strength had actually killed their companions in an instant. One had to know that their companion had the strength of a first-order sovereign. Which pinnacle race are you from? You must be tired of living. The fire phoenix in the middle was slightly stronger. He opened his mouth and a wave of flames engulfed Wang Xian. You are the ones who are tired of living. Phoenix clan? Hihi, die. Wang Xian's eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent. He had always kept the grudge against the Invincible domain in mind. Wung. As soon as he finished his sentence, 4 nether ghost doppelgangers appeared around him. They stared at them coldly and charged over without any hesitation. Nether ghost doppelgangers? You are from the Nether Ghost clan? Damn it. When the fire phoenix saw this, her face turned cold. Wang Xian flapped the unbeginning sacred wings that were shrouded in darkness. Wind and thunder flashed and instantly locked onto another fire phoenix. 3 fire phoenixes, 2 at the first-order universe sovereign realm, and 1 at the second-order universe sovereign realm. The 4 nether ghost avatars attacked the second-order sovereign, while he attacked the first-order sovereign. Not good, we are no match for him. The fire phoenix in the center sensed the strength of Dark Ghost's doppelganger, and her pupils constricted as shock appeared on her face. Run. The other fire phoenix was even more terrified. He couldn't see Wang Xian at all as he scanned his surroundings in panic. A Lord Fire Phoenix was actually killed. Hiss. Not good, we've encountered an expert. It's an expert from the Nether clan. We have to flee. When the other 10 demonic beasts saw one of the fire phoenixes being killed in an instant, their faces were filled with fear. Without any hesitation, they hurriedly fled into the distance. Pu. But at this moment, they heard a piercing sound. Big brother, save me. A blood-curdling scream was heard once again. They couldn't help but turn back to see. Their pupils constricted, and their hearts tightened. 3 fire phoenixes are no match for the other party. Run. The other party is terrifying. The 10 demonic beasts felt their scalps prickling as they fled for their lives. Lord from the Nether clan, we have no intention of offending you. We are willing to give up this place to you. We are willing to leave this place. When the last fire phoenix saw another comrade being killed in an instant, his eyes widened, and his heart was filled with fear. The other party had the strength to annihilate them easily. But in this universe, they couldn't return to their own holy kingdom in an instant. Don't even think of escaping. Wang Xian easily killed the second fire phoenix. His gaze fell on the last fire phoenix, and his eyes were filled with a cold light. With a wave of his arm, A devil ship flew out from his palm. The devil ship expanded 1,000,000 times, and charged towards the fleeing demonic beast. No, 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 don't kill us. The demonic beasts couldn't resist at all. Even with their speed, they were much slower than the devil ship. And this devil ship was also an innate cardinal treasure. Their strength hadn't even reached the sovereign realm in the Nine Origins universe. They were basically cannon fodder. The devil ship caught up with them easily, rammed into their bodies, and killed them instantly. We don't have any deep grudges. Why are you so ruthless? When the Second Order Sovereign Fire Phoenix saw that Wang Xian didn't even spare a dozen demonic beasts, his expression changed drastically. Die. Wang Xian ignored him. With a move, he charged over with the 4 nether ghost doppelgangers. Chirp, chirp, chirp. It won't be that easy to kill me. Nirvana, burn. The Fire Phoenix's eyes were filled with ferocity. He spread his phoenix wings, and the raging flames of life began to burn. As the flames of life burned, the terrifying power of the flames swept across the surrounding starry sky. Among the dozen planets in the distance, 2 of them moved. If you want to kill me, you'll have to be prepared to perish together with me. The Fire Phoenix's eyes were burning with flames as he roared. His strength skyrocketed in an instant. The terrifying thing about the Phoenix race was that they could burn their own flames of life. Under the burning of the flames, one's strength would be greatly enhanced. When the Phoenix race went all out, it was extremely terrifying. Wang Xian snorted coldly. With a thought, the 5 elements grindstone appeared in the sky above. Above the grindstone, there was a piece of ice metal. Confine. Wang Xian bellowed. Streams of dark energy wrapped around the Fire Phoenix. The 4 nether ghost doppelgangers also wrapped around it. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Facing Wang Xian's attack, the Fire Phoenix let out a furious roar. Terrifying flames burned as he struggled to break free. However, at this time, 5 divine dragons emerged from the 5 elements grindstone in the sky, roared, and struck heavily on the ice metal. The entire piece of metal flew towards the Fire Phoenix at a terrifying speed. Rumble, rumble, rumble. When the Fire Phoenix saw a piece of ice metal flying towards him, he raised his head and spat out the flames of life of the Phoenix. However, when the terrifying flames landed on the ice metal, there wasn't the slightest change. It continued to smash towards him at a terrifying speed. Bam!